师父上人，各位师兄，大家阿弥陀佛。Dharma friends, Venerable Master, welcome to our Sutra lecture tonight. My name is Heng Sure. It is Sunday night, May 21st, here at the City of 10,000 Buddhas. And it is actually Monday, the 22nd of May, here in Queensland, where I'm physically seated. We're going to be investigating the Avatamsaka Sutra, the Ten Transferences chapter. So welcome, and we're going to get started right away. 欢迎各位来参加我们万佛圣场的大方广佛华严经十回向品讲座。我叫恒师，今天是5月21，在万佛圣场。我本人在澳大利亚，现在是已经到了星期一，5月22，没关系了，欢迎各位。Okay, we're going to ask Alan to request Dharma in just a moment. First, we're going to bow to the Buddhas 3 times, and then we'll ask Alan to please do the Dharma request. 我们先礼佛3问心来。Okay, Alan, if you would like to request Dharma, please do it now.
恭敬大德森听，为此法会及一切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死，离苦得乐，殊证无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and attain bliss and end birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye olahadi samyao samputoshye.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi samyao samputoshye.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. 好的 Okay, Alan, appreciate the Dharma request. Welcome everybody. 我再说一遍，各位欢迎来参加我们的法会。我们继续研究《华严经》的十回向品。那个十回向品是一个法门，教我们如何修行普贤菩萨十大愿望的第10行门。那么不但讲那个理论，而且欢迎 殷勤，祈求各位来亲自来参加施与式，就做这个回向这个法。So we are investigating the Ten Transferences chapter, and it's a single practice. The Ten Transferences is just one practice, but it's profound in its. It is number 10 of Samantabhadra's 10 practices and vows, and when we look into this text, we not only are learning the theory, the how-to, how it should be done, but we're also giving everybody an opportunity and inviting everybody, hoping that everybody will take part and practice this method as well. So here we go. We still have some business to do. 我们还有这个讲经说法的仪式，还要继续办。So there's more to go, more to come here. Please join in. Welcome everyone to put your palms together if you care to do so, and invoke spiritual presence. 欢迎各位来，你们愿意的话，请合掌，我们都祈求华严海会佛菩萨一切护法神圣天龙八部来莅临道场，祝福各位。Something very special about the sound of a five-string banjo. We want to say that the Pomo people practice their spiritual connections to the earth and all creation here on their ancestral land for tens of thousands of years. Today we acknowledge them as traditional custodians and original storytellers of these lands. We offer our respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. Pomo 人在他们祖先的土地上修炼着他们与土地和万物的精神联系已有数万年。今天我们承认他们是这些土地的传统监护人和原始讲故事的人，并且向他们过去、现在和新兴的长老们，我们表示敬意，以及主权成为各方各让的所有第一民族人民们表示敬意。Yeah, that's a fine custom, and I hope we continue that. Include that in our Dharma requests from now on. We want to include the bell song. Bell sound wide resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sound that everywhere Fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传三千劫内，佛法扬万亿国中，功勋起法界和平，利益报他诺厚德。Yes, indeed. Here is our text for the day. Right there. Okay. If I have to sneeze, I may have to sneeze. I'm going to mute my mic so I can sneeze not in your ear. Excuse me. All right. Safely sneeze, not in the microphone. 佛子菩萨摩诃萨一诸善根如是回向时，身口意业皆悉解脱，无着无系，无众生想，无命者想，无补伽罗想，无人想，无童子想，无生者想，无作者想，无受者想，无有想，无无想，无今时后世想，无死此生彼想，无常想，无无常想，无三有想，无无三有想，非想非非想。Okay, let's do the last piece. Here we go. 如是非福回向，非福解回向，非业回向，非业报回向，非分别回向，非无分别回向，非思回向，非思意回向，非心回向，非无心回向。Okay. I want folks to pay special attention here. This is an extraordinary description of the mechanics of transference. This is pure Buddhist psychology at work. This is kind of like lifting the lid on the machine of the mechanics, the actual doing, the engine that does transference, which is, of course, the mind. Okay? Disciples of the Buddha, when bodhisattvas, mahasattvas make such dedications with their good roots, they completely liberate themselves from the karma of body, speech, and mind. They are free from attachments and bonds, free from the notion of living beings, free from the notion of a lifespan, free from the notion of a pudgala, free from the notion of people, free from the notion of youth, free from the notion of a creator, free from the notion of an agent of action, free from the notion of a recipient of action, free from the notion of existence, free from the notion of non-existence, free from the notion of present life and future life, free from the notion of dying in one place and being reborn in another, free from the notion of permanence, free from the notion of impermanence, free from the notion of the existence of the three realms, free from the notion of the non-existence of the three realms, and free from the notion of neither perception nor the absence of perception. In this manner, they make dedications without bonds, without liberation from bonds, without karma, without karmic consequences, without discrimination, without the absence of discrimination, without thinking, without afterthought, without the mind, and without the absence of the mind. Okay, I want to make a big point here that I think is really important to make. Notice here, they liberate themselves from the karma of body, speech, and mind. I think that can't be translated that way. I think it's very easy, if we translate it that way, for us to think that cause and effect doesn't matter for bodhisattvas, doesn't work anymore. And as we know, if you've paid attention to the stories of the ancestors, the past, there is a famous story about the monk who was confused and said, "Cause and effect doesn't apply to me. I never deal with cause and effect. I'm free from it." And as a result, his karmic retribution arrived, and he suffered. And then this was the fox. Remember the fox? The fox who used to be a cultivator and fell into the body of a fox after he made the claim through arrogance and through misunderstanding that cause and effect didn't affect him. He was free from it. And when he met the wise teacher, the Kalyana Mitra, who saw his condition, he was suffering lifetimes as an animal's body. He had the fox spirit who came to him in a dream or visiting in the realm of the yang realm, although he was already a spirit. He asked the old cultivator, said, "Tell me how you would say it. I said it wrong. I made a mistake." And the old cultivator said, "It's not that I never create karma. It's that I never make mistakes in karma." He's clear on cause and effect. He's not free from cause and effect. So if we translate it this way, they liberate themselves from the karma of body, speech, and mind. That's a possible interpretation of 如是回向时身口意业皆悉解脱. That's the Chinese, is liberated. It's not that they are free from cause and effect. They are free from, excuse me here, are bodhisattvas free from karma? Be careful. Use your wisdom skillfully. 佛子菩萨摩诃萨一诸上根如是回向时身口意业皆悉解脱. 然后呢, 很多, and then a lot of those. Disciples of the Buddha, when bodhisattvas, mahasattvas make such dedications with their good roots, they completely liberate themselves from the karma of body, speech, and mind. Their karma of body, speech, and mind are free from mistakes. Think of it this way. They still act, and the acts have consequences, but they have no affliction anymore when they act. So their actions are free from stains, from bias, from blindness, from prejudice, from habits, from emotional attachments when they act. Therefore, the deeds they do come back pure. And the point that this is the sixth transference, okay? 等一等我就会回向哈. This is number 6. And so they've entered the prajna paramita stage of their transference karma and their transference progress, that is. And so they've already reached the 2 levels of truth. So they can see with the wisdom of the Buddha at this point, while they are still involved in birth and death with living beings. So they have both the provisional and the ultimate views in their wisdom. So that's good, but it doesn't mean that cause and effect no longer works for them. Why is that important? Why do we have to point that out? There are people who will say, "Oh, bodhisattvas, they can kill people with no consequences. Oh, they're a bodhisattva, so therefore they can break all the precepts, and because they're bodhisattvas, it doesn't matter. Cause and effect doesn't matter." There are people who make that claim. And I'm a bodhisattva, therefore I can eat meat and cross over the beings I eat, and I can run around, and it doesn't matter because I'm a bodhisattva. That'd be a mistake, and that will hurt you will suffer. There's pain coming from that. So that's why it's really important to point this out, I think. 好 let me translate that. 各位要注意，在这我们中文不知道大家怎么解释这8个字，身口意业皆系解脱。英文的翻译我觉得要小心一点，我们要用智慧在这判断什么意思。就说我们这里就说they liberate themselves from the karma of body, speech, and mind. 你如果不小心的话，你看那个呢，你都会说哦，你看菩萨这里已经因果不会影响他们，他们已经因果不行，因为他们是菩萨，所以呢，随心所欲，怎么样做就没有后果。如是因如是果，现在对他们已经超过了，那个是错的。你这样做呢，恐怕会很痛苦啊。大家记得吗？那个故事，那个公安，我忘了是哪一个祖师，有没有谁记得那个公安？就说遇到是百丈禅师，哪一位历代祖师？他呢遇到一个狐狸精，这个有一个神晚上跟他说，求解脱了，求救了，说我是一个狐狸，我落到畜生法界、畜生道，因为我在人界呢的时候，我在人法界的时候，我错因果了。我怎么样？我就公告，我就说我现在已经离开因果的范围，因果现在跟我没有关系了，so 我不受因果。结果呢，我就离开人界，就堕落这个畜生法界三恶道里边，然后那个神就问求这个善知识是哪一位祖师？没有谁记得哈。那个你们会不会 use chat？ 不知道 chat 可能不能写就说来了，好，那个是谁呢？百丈，对，百丈禅师没有错。好那个狐狸精就问百丈禅师说：“那我说错了，我错因果，你呢？你应该怎么给我指正呢？我应该怎么说呢？”那个百丈禅师就说：“那你说我不受因果不对，你说我不错因果，那就正确，那就对了。好了。”那这样子，这个英文呢，看起来 they liberate themselves from the body, the karma of body, speech, and mind， 很容易就错误就看错了。怎么样看对呢？就说菩萨摩诃萨，他们应该说他们做事，他们动，他们说，他们思想，身口意的三业。不会错了，没有错误，没有烦恼，所以没有贪心，这样做就没有贪心，没有嗔恨心，没有偏见，没有自己不认识的地方，他们没有成见，也没有恶习，没有毛病，没有执着，结果做事一定正确。所以这个不一样，我们要正确，我们要看清楚这样说，对不对？大家听得懂听不懂哈？这个是不昧因果，对不落因果不昧因果就对了好，所以呢就说不会错了那个 这个为什么要指出这一点吗？为什么要这么清楚？因为有人就说，哎，我是菩萨，不会，我已经解脱了，我可以为所欲为，没有关系了啊。我吃肉，我就是渡这些鸡啊、鱼啊，我超度他们了，吃他们的身体生肉啊。我自己已经是菩萨，所以呢，杀人也没关系了。就有这个话，错的，这是错的啊。就菩萨已经到了第六回向，第六回向这个地步呢，是等于什么？等于般若地步。如果用这个六波罗蜜或者十波罗蜜，已经到第六波罗蜜，第六回向是等于第六波罗蜜。在那个时候普通的这个这种的就说二法，这个已经离开普通的智慧，已经到了这个就说那个究竟的智慧，佛的智慧。现在这位菩萨他可以认识，他可以应用，所以般若波罗蜜多那个时候已经可以用佛的智慧来教化众生，所以不会做错了。可是呢，因果还是在 ，OK， 所以这个他一定会尊重戒律，他就是说大家好像那个错误在哪里？I'll be back with you just a second. Hang in there. 这个错误就说好像人人都愿意犯戒，我们就是因为菩萨呢，所以他可以犯戒随便，不是说我们愿意杀盗淫妄酒，不是，这是大的障碍，而且害人害己，所以菩萨现在尊重五戒受了菩萨戒，受了比丘戒、比丘尼戒，所以呢，他更对于这个戒德、品德更清楚所以呢，不是说菩萨等着证菩萨道，那我可以随便犯戒没关系了，不是，这不是犯戒，不是快乐，不是目的了他就说以不坏ahimsa为主没有害处。身口意清净这样子 ，OK， 好的 ，All right, that's my point. Now look at the， 我们就看，OK, I'm back. Now this part is really, really interesting. Why does the sutra say 无 see all the wus here? 无招无系 Okay, so they're free of attachments and bonds. And then, see this word, 想, notion. This is to say, how many notions do we have? Let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Really? 11. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12 kinds. 12 kinds of notions. 想, which could also be translated as thoughts, that this bodhisattva doesn't have anymore at this stage. And this is really key to appreciate. This list, a similar, not exactly the same, but similar. So the list of what? 众生, living beings, Ming, lifespan, Pudgala. Pudgala is a Sanskrit word that wasn't translated because there was no exact equivalent in China, but this list of thoughts in the mind, what else do we have here? Ren, people, Tongzi, youth, Sheng, a creator, agent of action, recipient of action, existence, etc. This is a list that mirrors the Pali Abhidharma descriptions of the inner workings of the mind. These are the traces of existence that if I'm sure, I'm not sure. I have a hunch. I believe that if someone made it their MA project or their doctoral project, get some researcher, some PhD student here to map out this list, and it also appears in the first of the 10 practices, the 十横品, practice number 1, the same list. When the Bodhisattva gives his body away, he also doesn't have these thoughts in his mind. So wouldn't it be interesting to discover that as humanity evolved, if we borrow a Darwinian kind of point of view, that as we emerge even from the womb in states of development of the fetus in the womb, that these are kind of benchmarks. These are milestones along the evolution into humanity when we emerge from mother's womb as a person. I have a hunch that these are probably could be clocked to a timetable. And now I haven't done deep study of the Abhidharma to know how the Abhidharma traditionally maps this, but my guess is the Buddha is saying that this bodhisattva has cleansed his or her mind so thoroughly through samadhi, through meditation, that these kind of traces, the outlines, if you think of transparencies that you lay over a map, these outlines, these what's the word I'm looking for? Archetypes. These might be deeply biological archetypes that also have a psychological component, psycho-spiritual, physical development. The Bodhisattva has cleansed the mind so clearly that these traces are gone now. Something like that. I would love to read somebody's research into that, because these are subtle connections. Perception, the absence of perception, the three realms, non-existence, the three realms, non-existence. There's both these dualities. It's neither the Bodhisattva's thinking, these subtle traces of existence and non-existence all together are gone now. So this Bodhisattva is transformed from the Dharma. So anyway, I hope if someone knows the existence of research into these lists of identity markers into humanity, I'd love to hear about it. 各位注意哈，菩萨在这儿，就他回向的时候，他做布施的时候，等一等，我回来。I'm going to add a line here. This is the context for this description is giving. The Bodhisattva is transferring merit, and as he transfers, he does so kind of evolved away from humanity or from the Dharma realm of humanity. He's giving purely, but in the giving, there is no hang up anywhere. Okay. 就说菩萨在回向的时候，他没有12种想，不是10种。你看有没有注意哈？一般就会有10个，现在12个。这个想是什么想？什么念头？这是我自己个人的一个揣测哈。好像我们在华严经什么地方又读到这个名额，在十横品，这是十回上品的前边。十横品第一欢喜横，菩萨布施他的身肉给饥饿的众生的时候， 他就这种的很难得的布施啊，他也没有这个不掐罗人众生命者受者是这个布施者这些念头都没有了。这个名额呢，这个名相是不是那个巴利文的阿毗达摩研究人心的时候，修行的时候，这个人心有没有这些 categories？ 因为补伽罗还有其他的，跟这个名额稍微不同，这都是我们人类这个人法界，我们人道的心里边会有的一些什么捕捉，一些地步，就是想，所以很微细，这没有形象的，这是看不见的，可是实在是有。有没有谁研究到清楚这是什么？我恐怕词不达意，这里我很难讲因为我们达尔文就说人是从这个蛤蟆，人是从这个细胞慢慢的经过人那个出生到慢慢的发展，就是进轮想进轮人what is the Darwin 进化论，yeah， 对了，谢谢。Okay, 18 notions. Okay, 18. Wow, okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, 进化论就说我们人不是从天降来，也不是上帝就用泥土把我们做了，不是。说达尔文他是英国的这种生物学者，他说我们是 evolved， 所以进化从出生到人道，是不是？我今天不是要辩论那个了，就是说为什么有众生命者不伽罗人童子生者作者受者有无等等，是不是这都是菩萨现在在第六回向已经证得般若波罗蜜多的地步的第六，在那个如果我们用六波罗蜜或者十波罗蜜来做当表示，如果有的话，是不是每一个这些 divisions 是在可能是在母亲的胎里边还没有生出来的婴儿，这个孩子他也经过9个月还是10个月的变化，慢慢的就出来了。菩萨在第六地步呢，已经在三昧里边用三昧真火，用他的定力已经清净离开这种种的地步，所以回向的时候，他的回向力，他的心的范围，他的心量，就现在已经超过人道。有没有这种的，我也不清楚，这是我一个思想。如果各位知道哪一位硕士学位、博士学位的这个学者把这个研究，把阿毗达摩跟 Darwinism， 达文的这个进化论呢，还有这个华严经的讲菩萨，他现在这么清净，已经没有这种限量，会不会研究出来什么结果 ？Yeah，maybe。那么就是金庸师说，不但有12个，有18个相，菩萨现在没有了。Very interesting, yeah。所以呢，我们就看这里，如是非福回向。So when the Bodhisattva dedicates now, he's got no ties, nothing ties him up. He's liberated from bonds and no bonds. He is free now. This Jeto is free. There's no karma, no karmic consequences. Is that the right way to translate that? Yeah, we have to be really careful here again. No discrimination and no absence of discrimination. So talk about pure giving. Just no thinking, no afterthought, no mind, no absence of mind. So what kind of giving is this? How does a bodhisattva do it to be so pure in this giving? And that's a close, detailed reading of the Ten Transferences chapter, especially with commentary, can give us a much better picture of how this actually happens. One of the bigger questions is, we say 自作自受. We say you get the results of the deeds you do. It doesn't affect anybody else at all. We say, well, but what about transference? How can the deeds that I do help you? Where is the connection that actually the engine that moves merit and virtue that I do over to others? And the sutra is not careless. It's not casual. It's not sloppy in its description. It's here. It's in the sutra, and it's in passages like this where we get a clue. Now, if we had the Buddha's wisdom eyes functioning, you could open your eyes and I could open my eyes and tell you all about it, but sadly, I don't have that wisdom. So that would have been a great question to ask Master Hua. But we are going to read carefully because this is key. This is the real stuff of the Buddhist universe that crosses over into the realm of physics. This is wisdom physics, and it's super important for giving people a profound appreciation and respect and admiration for the Buddha's kindness in bestowing this teaching upon us in the Avatamsaka Sutra. 各位注意，在这儿就说就非福回向，他这样回向也没有附着，就说解脱回向没有福解没有业，也就说非业报。那怎么说呢？没有业呢？如果你已经可以先出来化身，那这个哪一个身体受这个果报了？这是个问题非分别，非无分别回向，那非思意非心，非无心，这种回向呢，大家想想看，这个因果可以说是这个宇宙之间的一个机器，那个动机，那个马达 motor 就是因果菩萨在回向的时候，怎么会我们大家都研究佛法，就听过很多次自作自受，是不是？我自己做的就是种什么因结什么果，怎么会我种的因你得果？有没有啊？有，在回向的时候。可是这个回向到底是怎么做的呢？就是《华严经》里边，尤其是十回向品，我们仔细研究，一定会有这个答案。就是可能我们没有问过这个问题怎么会我做你受？就是心与心菩萨道这个有这种的 好像超过离开因果的范围，并不是。所以我相信这个华严经不是马虎这一点，不是忽略这一点，不是没有想到这一点，一定会告诉我们。那我们如果继续研究，我今天没有这个肯定的答案，我也是向这个来学习。那哪一个人呢？已经开自己的大智慧啊？你可以马上告诉我们，拜托。我们并没有师父在的时候，并没有问他。不过我相信《华严经》也会讲清楚，满意我们这种研究那么达到这个答案呢？我们在这个物理学有大的贡献怎么会新的范围是多么奇妙都就一个念头。我们西方已经有什么 power of prayer 祈祷的力量，已经有一些人，一些科学家，他们做过试验，他们研究就说，这个医院里边我们有100个看护，他们就说在照顾这个病人的时候，心里在祈祷。还有100个看护，他们照顾病人的时候没有祈祷，可是那个病人呢，有100个祈祷的看护所照顾的病人，他们是不是恢复快一点？有没有？有人做过这种的研究那么所以我们西方也有这种的疑问这种研究，所以回向到底是怎么一回事？就是像今天这一段给我们鼓励我们更清楚明白到底回向是怎么一回事。So in the West, as we investigate this issue, we do have investigations into the question of karma. There have been experiments in the medical world using what's called the power of prayer, where I don't want to incorrectly give it how it was set up, but I know there were experiments where nurses in hospitals were encouraged to pray while they treated patients, and another group of nurses, the control group, treated the patients without prayer. And the experiment was to see who recovered more quickly, the patients that were prayed for or the patients that weren't prayed for. And I know there were, some people would say the results were inconclusive, but there are other people who would absolutely tell you that the power of prayer is completely the case. So, can the mind, with a thought, carry merit and virtue from my person to another person? That's the question. Let's put that in front of us as we continue to investigate the 10 Transferences chapter. Okay, what have we got here? We have a wonderful passage from Master Xuanzang's biography, which is right here. Okay, I'll put this side by side. Oops. Here we go. Okay. 法师乃切念在长安将发至西方日，有数人何宏达者，诵咒瞻观，多有所中。法师令占行事，答曰：士得去状死生医疗吃瘦马，其鞍桥前有铁，既睹胡人所乘马受吃，其鞍有铁，于何言何？ 心以为当，遂换马。虎翁欢喜，礼敬而别。于是壮树与少虎发业。三更许到河，遥见鱼关。去关流10里许，两岸可扩丈余。邦有 ，let's see here， 邦有胡椒树丛，胡乃斩树为桥。不草填沙，去马而过。Okay. The master recalled that when he was about to start on his journey to the west from Chang'an, there was a sorcerer. Put this over here, make that a little skinnier, so you can see them both here. There we go. Yo, okay. There was a sorcerer named He Hongda, whose witchcraft and divination were usually effective. The master asked him to foretell the events of his forthcoming journey. And I want to make a point here. You remember Master Hua also was in the habit of asking local fortune tellers in Manchuria. The sorcerer said, "You will be able to go, and it seems that you will be riding on an aged, lean, skinny horse of a reddish color, equipped with a varnished saddle with a piece of iron on the front." On seeing that the foreign man's horse was lean and reddish in color, and that the varnished saddle had a piece of iron, the master said, "Okay, I can take this horse." And he traded away a younger, stronger horse for this old, skinny horse. So he changed horses for that of the old Hu foreigner, who was very happy and went away after bowing to him, after making salutation. Okay, hold on here. Okay. 法师几度而起，因解驾停憩，与胡人相去可有50步50余步，各下入而免。少时，胡人乃拔刀而起，许向法师，未到10步，许又回，不知何意，亦有异心。记其诵经，乃观音菩萨圣号。忽然见一环卧遂免，田欲明，法师唤令其取水灌树。解斋气欲发，忽人曰：“弟子将前去闲言，又无水澡，尾无风，下有水，必须夜道偷水而过。但一处被绝，即是死人，不如归还，用物安稳。”是乃确然不回，乃仍绵羊而进，路任张公，命法师前行，法师不肯拒前。忽然自行数里而入，曰：“弟子不能去，家累既大，而王法不可干也。”法师知其意，遂任唤。忽人曰：“师必不达，入被侵捉，相因奈何？”法师报曰：“纵是切割此身，入为尘者，众不相引。为尘终是，其意仍止。与马一匹，劳谢而别。”哇，那个真的是他那个去印度正式开始在这里。Okay, wait a sec. I got to here. Okay, stop here. All right, here we go. So what happens next? Oh my gosh. This is the actual spiritual start of the pilgrimage. Okay. After having packed his kit, the master started on the journey with the young Hu. Hu means foreigner. He's just a foreigner. He's a barbarian, right? At about the third watch, they reached the river and they saw the Yuman pass at a distance. That's the leaving China. They went up the stream for 10 li from the pass to cross over secretly and came to a place where the banks of the river were 10 feet apart, besides which there was a wood of tamarisks, which is a suitable tree for cutting. The Hu man cut some branches and built a bridge on which he spread grass and paved it with sand. Then they drove their horses across, so a 10-foot gap. The master was glad to have crossed the river. He unsaddled his horse to take a rest 50 steps away from the barbarian guy. They spread their quilts on the ground to sleep, their sleeping bags. After a while, it was dark. The Hu man got up, pulled his knife out of his sheath, and walked towards the master. Uh-oh. The foreigner, my guide, is going to kill me. But he retreated a distance of 10 paces. Master Shenzong didn't know what he had in his mind and said, yeah, he's coming at me with a knife. He probably has an evil intent. What did he do? He sat up and he recited sutras and the name of Guan Yin Pusa. And the Hu man lay down and slept. So in the Pumen Pin, where it talks about danger from thieves and bandits, there you go. It was nearly daybreak. The master woke up the barbarian, said, go get some water, we're going to wash up. At the moment, they were going to continue the journey after the breakfast, after having eaten. And the Hu man said, your disciple considers the journey ahead is long and dangerous with no water and no grass on the way. As water can be obtained only at the 5 towers, where you will be arrested if you show your face, we have to reach them at night to steal water and then continue. But once we're discovered, we'll be dead. So better to turn back now. But the master was determined not to go back. And so the Hu man proceeded with reluctance, unwilling. He took out his sword. He drew his bow, ordering the master to go before him. But Master Shenzong says, no way, you go first. You're the defender, you're the guide. When they had gone a few Chinese miles, the man stopped and said, I'm out of here. I can't go any further. I have to support my family, and I don't want to break the law. So Master Shenzong said, okay, all right, I won't force you. The Hu man said, you will certainly not succeed. What will I do if you're arrested and you turn me in? The master replied, even if they cut me to bits, I will never implicate you in my affair. He took the solemn oath. The man was satisfied. The master presented him with a horse out of gratitude for his service, and they said goodbye. Whew. Heavy duty, right? This is just an amazing story. This is completely as exciting as any wuxia novel you've ever read, but it's real people. And you can see why in the Ming Dynasty, a novelist, Wu Chang'an, took this story, the true story of Master Shenzong, and turned it into a novel, Xi You Ji, right? So, and people, they only knew about the fictional character, Monkey and Sandy and Zhubaji and Pigsy, but they didn't even know that this was based on a true story, which is every bit as exciting as the fictional account, only is true. 各位，你们是不是跟我的看法一样？就说这个玄奘大师的外传，就跟武侠小说一样紧张，一样动人。可是这是真实的，这不是小说，这不是什么作者的这个想念、联想，不是，这是真实。有这么一个法师，就为佛法而牺牲自己啊。所以呢，我们读到这个人生的故事、真实的故事了，就会觉得动听哈。所以呢，到明朝的时候，就是唐朝的后1000年以后1000年，有吴承恩就写什么写《西游记》这个小说， 有猪八戒，有孙悟空啊，有沙僧等等，我们都觉得哇，这个好读啊，很欢喜读了。想不到很多人不知道，这是真实有这么一个唐朝一个法师出家中能这样做。所以呢，我希望各位都会跟着我来听华严经，然后呢，讲完了华严经，我们就研究玄奘大师的故事。Okay, that's all from me for now for this week, and we will come back at the end of 2 wonderful Dharma talks happening next from graduates of Dharma Buddhist University, and we will transfer the merit after we are done. Okay, who is introducing today's speakers? Amitofo.
They can speak themselves without introducing. Well, let me just say that briefly. We have two people here. One is Simon Yang, and the other one is Sheila She. Both of them help the live stream, the 10,000 Buddha repentance a lot this year. And we just finished the repentance yesterday. So I invite them to share their reflection with everyone. 今天晚上我们是请了2位法大的毕业生，一位是杨书雨，另外一位是谢明慧。他们2个这次在万国忏直播方面做了很多事情。昨天才刚拜完万国忏，所以我请他们今天晚上和大家分享他们的感想。So who's going to do it first?
I can go first, 金勇师。
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Can you guys see me or?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Sheila She. I'm honored to share my post-repentance session reflections with you. I will start with a brief introduction about myself. 大家好，我是谢明慧，很高兴今天可以在线上与大家分享我参加万佛宝忏后的一些感想。那我先做一个简单的自我介绍。I was born and raised in China. Like many who grew up during that period, I did not have a Buddhist upbringing. Nobody in my family was Buddhist except my grandmother. And I first went to CityDB for a Guanyin session organized by Dharma Buddhist University, DRBU, extension team in 2014. Although the chantings in the Buddha Hall felt unfamiliar. In the beginning, my affinities with the CityDB community have grown stronger over time. As I became more drawn to the Dharma, I joined DRBU's MMA program in 2017. 我是在中国出生和长大，跟其他在那个时期长大的人一样，我从小没有佛教的熏陶，我家人除了我奶奶，没有一个人信佛。那我第一次去万佛城是参加由法界大学 Extension Team 在2014年组织的观音期法会。虽然第一次在佛殿的唱诵让我感觉有点陌生，但我与万佛城的缘分却日渐加深。当我对佛法越来越感兴趣的时候，我于2017年加入法大的硕士班。In April this year, I started to get ready to participate in the 10,000 Buddhist repentance session. 恒教师 connected me with 金勇师. There was a need for volunteers to live stream this year's session. My gut reaction was to take it on, but I had some reservations. I had not done a live stream before. More than that, I had made a prior commitment to help organize a large event, which was also going to consume a significant amount of time and energy. I wondered how taking on the additional volunteer work would impact my bowing practice. Can I handle the additional workload without killing myself? 今年4月，我在准备参加万佛宝忏，恒教师帮我联系到金勇师。今年的拜忏法会需要有义工来做在线直播，我的直觉当然是要参与。 但我还是有些迟疑。我以前从来没有做过直播，再加上我已答应帮忙组织一个大型活动，会需要很多和时间和精力。如果再参加直播，怎么会影响到我的拜忏呢？我是否能承担更多的工作？ When I have doubts, I look for applicable teachings and use them to help guide my decision-making process. I thought that the first paramita was dana giving, making such an auspicious Dharma assembly available online to worldwide practitioners should be a priority. 当我有疑问的时候，我会从以前学过的教导中寻求答案。6度中的第1度就是布施，让这个殊胜的法会用网络的方式提供给全球各地佛友，对我来说我觉得是很重要的。Moreover, the CTDB community has generously supported and nurtured my cultivation over the years. Previously, I did not have time to help much. This year, there was nothing standing in the way. I wanted to repay CTDB's collective kindness, which came from the bottom of my heart. It felt like a calling to serve, selflessly, without any attachments, as my DRBU professor Marty Verhoeven taught. 万佛城多年来一直有支持和培育我的修行。以前我是很想帮忙，但因为时间关系而做不到，但今年就没有任何可以阻挠我的因素。我是发自内心深处想回报给圣城。这种想法是正如法大教授 Marty Verhoeven 所教的，不求任何回报的无私给予。The first couple of days of live stream were challenging. I was terrified about making mistakes when I shared the screen on Zoom. If I made a single mistake, I thought, several hundred people participating online would be impacted. I felt butterflies in my stomach. I did not have enough time to prepare myself to execute as flawlessly as possible. Having studied Abhidharma at DRBU, I could recognize a lot of unwholesome dharmas arising. 刚开始做直播的前几天比较难，我很害怕在Room上分享屏幕时出现错误。如果我一旦出错，那会影响线上几百人，我心里真的是七上八下，忐忑不安。但当时确实没有更多的时间来准备到可以完美无缺操作的地步。我在法大学习过阿毗达摩对比法，所以能够识别那些不好的念头。The team was committed to making the repentance session available online, so I would not consider backing out. I had to look into my self-inflicted fears and anxieties. I'm not a fearful person in general, but this time emotions were so intense. I had to work through my fears. There was no escape. Doing volunteer work actually gave me a chance to come face to face with my insecurities. Upon analyzing my emotions and thoughts, I was able to identify the cause, self, which is the usual suspect. I've been holding on to a self-identity that is getting things done as perfectly as possible. 我们小组都有决心让这次拜忏在网络上直播，所以我不会考虑退出。我必须面对这些不理智的害怕和焦虑。虽然我平时不是一个什么都害怕的人，但这次感觉非常强烈，我无处可逃。那这次做义工的机会反而让我可以面对自己缺乏自信的一种机会。经过一番分析后，我找到了原因，还是那个无所不在的自我意识，就是想尽量完美无缺地完成我所接受的工作。Fortunately, I was in the repentance session. The bowing practice proved to be a powerful tool to calm my nerves. For the first time, I understood why Professor Doug Powers advised us to bow in stressful situations. When one bows, the practice functions to hold together the 6 sense organs, so the mind does not wander so easily. The physical movements allow one to elongate and relax the spine, which helps with relaxation. 幸运的是，我在拜忏法会，我认识到拜忏是可以让我冷静下来一个强而有力的工具。这也是我第一次真正理解到为什么法大教授 Doug Powers 教我们在压力很大的时候用礼拜的方门来控制情绪。这个做法可以收受6根，所以大脑不容易开小差。身体的动作可以帮助延伸脊柱，让人放松。I was struck by the effectiveness of the bowing practice, so I reread Locke's interview with Rev Heng Sure on 10,000 Buddha's repentance, hoping to understand the ancient practice better. 我完全被拜忏法门的有效性惊呆了，所以我重新再读了那篇 Locke 与恒实法师关于万佛宝忏对话的文章，希望可以更深入的了解这个古老的法门。Rev Heng Sure explains that bowing is a technology because it works by using the body to get to the mind. I experienced that. I was tired. Somehow being tired was a good thing. It allowed me to surrender my thoughts. 恒实法师解释，礼拜是一种有效的技术方法，是通过身体来解决思维的方式。这个我有体会到。有时候我觉得疲倦，当感觉疲倦反而使我妄想减少，成为我放松思绪的动力。The chantings created by skillful cantors, sutra texts, incense, and the physical movements, etc., all came together to carry me through my challenges. Rev Heng Sure explains that the power of this bowing technology comes from a combination of physical, psychological, and spiritual elements. No wonder it's so powerful. The bowing posture had a softening effect on me, which allowed me to melt into the practice. It was as if I was unified with the rest of the Dharma assembly. 由熟练的维诺主领的唱诵、经文的文字、香，还有身体的运动等结合起来，帮我一起度过难关。恒实法师的解释是，这个技术的能量结合了身体、心理和精神的多种因素，难怪这么有效。拜下去的姿势好像有一种软化的作用，让我身心融化在礼拜中，也与法会融合在一起了。Holding my mind on chanting and bowing, I could let go of my worries. It's such a blessing that I got to work on some strong karmic seeds stored in my eighth consciousness. 只要我能念头集中在唱诵上，我就不再担心。感恩我有这个改变深藏在第8阿赖耶识的顽固业力种子的机会。Doing the live stream requires alertness and focus. I could not let my mind wander aimlessly. This additional level of vigilance helps bring the mind back to focus, one bow at a time, thought by thought. When the mind wandered, I refocused on reciting the Buddha's name. 直播需要保持清醒和专注，我不能任由思路开小差。额外增加的警觉可以让思路重新集中。当我发现注意力分散了以后，我就会用唱诵佛名的方式来重新专注。The more I bowed, my mind became clearer. I felt healed and revitalized. I felt joy for serving others. I could deal with competing deadlines and so on with a relative sense of ease. As described by the verses from the Mangala Sutta, although involved in worldly tasks, unshaken the mind remains. 我感觉越拜我的头脑越清醒，好像人也被治愈和激活了。做义工让我感觉很快乐，也能够相对平静地对待各种截止日期啊等等。正如吉祥经上所说，虽处诸世间，其心不动摇。In summary, the bowing session with live stream volunteer responsibility is just as fulfilling and fruitful. The continuation of CTDB's on-site and online project need more volunteers to carry on the work. I encourage every one of you to try new things. Be courageous. Serving others can help break down the dualist boundaries between oneself and others. 总的来说，这次做义工的拜忏经历跟以前一样充实和有效。万佛城的线下和线上工作需要更多的义工来帮忙，希望大家鼓起勇气，勇敢尝试新东西，服务于大家可以瓦解我与他人的界限。Lastly, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank 净勇师 for guiding us patiently while giving us the autonomy to figure things out. Thanks for bringing a sounding board for us. 借此机会感谢净勇师的耐心引导，还给我们自主的空间去寻求解决问题的方案，并与我们一起检测新的方法是否可行。阿弥陀佛。
Amitofo. Can everyone hear me okay? Is the volume okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me adjust my windows a little bit. 1 second. View is speaker. Okay. So, Amitofo, everyone. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Master, Dharma Masters, all Dharma friends, Amitabha. 所以说诸佛菩萨、仙公上人，诸位尊敬的法师，诸位佛友，阿弥陀佛。It is my honor to have the opportunity to share my Dharma reflections tonight, and I'm very inspired by Sheila's clear thinking and profound reflection. And I myself actually didn't write anything up. I have an outline for myself. So just a little bit about my own background. Basically, I encountered Buddhism through Berkeley Buddhist Monastery when I was in college. And since then, I have been really, I'm really drawn into practicing Dharma and studying Dharma. And then I worked for several years and then joined DRBU for 2 years of master program. After I graduate, I served different monasteries and tried to practice diligently. And this time I feel very grateful to be given the opportunity to serve the community by making the live streaming available to online participants. And then the reason why I didn't actually write anything down, one is because I'm actually traveling back and driving back to where I come from, which is Seattle, the city I'm living right now. And then the second reason is that, as I said earlier, I think, unlike Sheila's fearless spirit of giving, I myself is a little bit selfish in a way that I'm really enjoying Dharma and practicing Dharma. And so I would like to, I hope for your understanding to allow me to speak freely and reflect truly on the experience that I have and also the Dharma that I experiment and practice through this session. 那我的名字叫杨书雨，我呢很Sheila的这个讲稿让我很受鼓舞，他的思路非常清晰他的观点也很有深度。那我个人呢很惭愧，没有写任何稿子，也没有准备稿子，因为呢我就想说呢，就是和我的背景可能有一点的关系。我是在读大学的时候接触到佛法，通过伯克利还有施法师就是那个道场施法师的道场接触到佛法上人的法，然后呢就非常的热爱佛法，修行佛法学习佛法然后在大学毕业之后，我工作了几年之后呢，我就放弃了工作，来法界大学读书。法界大学毕业之后呢，我在不同道场服务修行。这次呢，我非常感恩有这个给予法师给予我这个机会来服务道场来贡献这个自己的力量来直播这万佛宝忏。那呢我可能因为我比较喜欢法，有可能有点执着，所以说我一个比较自私的一点呢，就是我没有把它写下来，因为我实在是非常被这个万佛宝忏的这个法门所吸引很不像Sheila，它是一种无私的奉献。我呢在拜万佛宝忏，除了在做义工之余呢，我是非常享受去探索深入这个法门，所以说我就希望大家能理解我的这个这一种心，一种真心诚心，希望大家可以允许我呢可以没有稿件的和大家来用我的真心来和大家分享我这次的体会。So the repentance to me is a very organized Dharma, is a very sophisticated Dharma door, because in addition to bowing to each Buddha's name, according to the sutra, there's actually morning liturgy and afternoon liturgy. And as a volunteer, I had the opportunity to really study them and study sequence, as we volunteers that need to really know the sequence so that we can share the screens and then know all the procedure. So if it's okay, I will share my screen so to show you, especially for those who haven't participated in 10,000 Buddha repentance, to give you a taste of how the Dharma door was presented to us and how we can access the wonderfulness, the wonder by contemplating according to its meaning. So let me share my screen. So this is the morning liturgy, and so it's it's so wonderful that the cantor actually, by singing these ancient but marvelous melody, it just draw everybody into this thing of endless Dharma realm. Even we are in the Buddha hall, but through the text and through the music, through the cantor's voice, it just seems that our mind are expanded to the whole Dharma realm. What happens here is that we first make offerings, to Buddha throughout the 10 directions, and we first invoke Namo Universal Goodness Bodhisattva great practice, as he set example. This Bodhisattva set an example for how one can practice the cultivation that pervades the Dharma realm. And then here's the text. Allow me to just point out briefly. For example, here, may this cloud of incense and flowers pervade the world throughout the 10 directions, adorning every Buddha land with boundless fragrance. May all complete their journey on the Bodhisattva path and gain the fragrance of the Buddhas. So to me, this is truly wonderful, because what actually happens here, each participant is holding a piece of incense, just small piece of incense, and also a flower in our hand. And then, but this text allows us to contemplate that this limited materials that we hold in our hand actually can be a catalyst for our mind to, like Reverend earlier explained, like our mind can be an engine to access the physics of the Dharma realm. As we actually contemplate in the Buddha hall, if we have the faith and we also have the sincerity, then what truly happens is that in front of the Buddhas, each Buddha through the Dharma realm, we actually manifest our offering in front of them. So you can say this is the purification of our mind by actually expanding our mind to adorn the Dharma realm. To me, this is really wonderful, because at that moment, it's really hard to tell the difference. Is there any difference between the Dharma realm and the mind that contemplates the Dharma realm? But as a result, I can feel that all the greed, hate, all the afflictions and the false thinking, they just fell away naturally. And so this is the offering. In a second, we'll make vows. Here's make great vows. This is the second step. You can say the Dharma practice that follows making the offerings of the Dharma realm. The time limit, so I just point out briefly. So for example, it says here, I actually just summarize for you. So basically it says, I hope by the aid of the empowerment of all Buddhas, then I vow to fulfill the Bodhisattva practice, vows of practice. And what are they? They are giving of Dharma and giving of wealth. And we also, as a result, you can say we are perfecting our blessings, perfecting our wisdom. So I think in a just very simple sentence, you kind of summarize the aspiration we have by cultivating this Dharma door. Eventually, everybody wants to become a Buddha. And a Buddha is complete in blessings and wisdom. And so we first make offerings, so our mind becomes pure. And then with that pure container, you can say that the engine that function is ready to function fully. And then we then make vows that exhausting the make a vows that is beyond time and space. And the vows is essentially to become Buddha as we bow to Buddhas. And then how we do it is actually to fearlessly give away wealth and give away Dharma. So when we actually make the vows, it actually becomes a compass for us to go into a full day of bowing practice. So I don't have the sutra of the Buddha's name here, but I'll just explain briefly. Basically, each Buddha has a name, and the name contains merit, boundless virtue, because you can say sometimes Buddhas pick a dharma in the previous life and perfect it, and that becomes the Buddha's name. Or the Buddha has a certain merit, and when he achieves Buddhahood, like Amitabha, which means boundless light, then when we actually bow to the Buddhas, we actually bring up a contemplation by bringing our mind and paying attention to the meaning that are contained in each name. Everybody knows Amitabha Buddha, but Amitabha is Sanskrit, but what it really means, it means boundless light, and also can mean boundless light, boundless life, unlimited life. So when we actually bow to Amitabha, we actually can say rejoice in the Amitabha's light and the limitless Dharma body. Actually, but in a way, as ultimately, when we actually contemplate this, we actually bring these qualities to our own mind ground. Boundless light means that we choose not to be covered up by our afflictions. And you can say unlimited life or infinite life is our fearlessness and our deep resolve to carry out the Bodhisattva practice through the end of time. Actually, there's no time, but when we actually have the concept of time, we go beyond that by contemplating that we have this infinite Dharma body that we can use, we can uncover to practice boundless Bodhisattva practices. So when I actually make the offerings in the beginning, also when I make the vows in the beginning, then bowing to each Buddha becomes a very dynamic process. It actually comes to the mind by doing it mindfully, but at the same time, it just constantly reminds me of these vows to perfect my own merits. And so as a result, I can also become a Buddha that I'm bowing to now, just like the Buddhas I'm bowing to now, that I can also emit boundless light to bring all beings towards liberation. Even though you can say all Dharma doors are equal, I personally practice Chan all the time, because if you believe, as I said, I think the faith has to be based on the principle that our mind ground already has all merits. Different Dharma door has different functions. You can say Chan is a very direct because you just stop all false thinking and then everything manifests. But bowing is almost like an active meditation, because when you actually bring up those wholesome thoughts, when you make those wholesome vows, the mind just naturally dissolve, become gentle, and become fearless. And then your mind just naturally can reach the state of single-mindedness. And then, like Master Hua said, of course, I'm a little far away from that stage, but eventually, when not a single false thinking arises, then everything manifests. All the Dharma realm and all the Bodhisattva practices, all the Buddhas from the past and the present, throughout the future will manifest in front of you. And then that's the belief, that's the faith I have. And then that's the destination I want to reach, which is actually no destination, to make the mind expand as big as the Dharma realm.
And Simon, you need translation. Also, we are running out of time.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's okay. I think that's it for my, so.
You need to briefly translate what you say.
Oh, I briefly translate. And 那就是说，所以说就是总结一下，不好意思，我的那个讲的英文讲的多一些，就总结一下，就是说，在拜忏之前呢，我们会先要庄严法界去观想，在这里就愿此香花园遍满十方界。那在庄严法界的时候呢，我们的心量就如同法界那么大。当我们的心量如法界那么大，去庄严这个无穷无尽的法界的时候，其实我们在庄严自己的内心，我们的内心呢就放下我们的心量就变得大，我们就放下了那些人我之分啊，种种的烦恼啊，种种的忧愁啊。当我们的心量变得大的时候，让我们的心清净的时候，那我们可以发大愿来引导我们去行菩萨法，去行菩萨道。那陈大愿这里呢就很快总结，他就是说呢，愿以我们圆满普贤恨，愿我们财法二施，福慧二言，尽未来际。 所以说，当我们明白我们的心量就如法界那样大，那我们就要发愿去圆满我们的清净心。怎么方式呢？就是要法布施、财布施，最后呢，能福慧，能圆满我们的福慧，然后我们去庄严法界，可以利益其他的众生。所以说，这个供养和愿呢，等于说像一个指南针，告诉我们在拜每一尊佛的时候，我们可以如何去观想，如何去回向，可以说就是回向，把我们的功德，把我们的修行回向到这个菩提道上面来，回向到利益一切众生的这个愿上来。那这里简单说呢，比如说我们在拜每一尊佛的时候，每一尊佛都有他的佛名，可能和他佛的因地修行，或者是和佛的他的某一种愿力有关。比如说大家都耳熟能详的阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀呢是法语，翻译过来就是无量光和无量寿。当我们在拜阿弥陀佛的时候，我们可以观想我们随喜阿弥陀佛的功德。那在我们随喜阿弥陀佛无量光的时候，我们就知道我们自己的自信也有无量光，我们就选择不为一切烦恼所蒙蔽，我们就选择要光明，不要黑暗。那我们在随喜阿弥陀佛无量寿的时候，我们知道我们的法身是没有时间的，是超出时间的，它是不生也不灭的，可以行菩萨道。我们可以有这样的信心之后，我们就可以有这样一种无畏的一种力量去生生世世的去行菩萨道。所以说我就觉得呢，有这样的一种观想，可以帮助我们在拜佛的时候很轻松的达到一心。因为我觉得信心修行佛法的信心都是明白，就是要明白，个人来说就是自信本就是法界，本包含一切的功德。可以很简单说，那不打妄想了，一切就现前。但是我觉得万佛忏呢是一个很好的法门，它通过这样一种主动的去发愿去行菩萨的一些愿力，还有回向的这些义理呢，一些法门呢，可以让我们很轻松的达到一心。正如上人所说的，一念不生全体现。当然，那我离那个还有很大一段距离，但是呢，通过这次法会，我可以感受到这个法的这个殊妙殊胜，它可以通过这样一种去行菩萨道，去扩张我们的心量，去轻松的达到我们的一心，然后开发本有的智慧，去利益一切的众生。所以说今天的分享就到这儿阿弥陀佛，感恩这次机会。
Okay. Well, thank you both to Sheila and to Simon. See, I'll turn my camera on here. Here we go. For those Sheila's talk was right from the heart. Her own experience bowing and the challenges she overcame, and very inspiring, I think, to lots of people who maybe didn't quite get the courage to join this time, but hearing a report like that, they can say, I want to have an experience like that. So that's the power of a Dharma talk from the heart. And Simon demonstrates the quality of the investigation that you can expect at Dharma Buddhist University. And Sheila, of course, is a graduate as well. So when we have talents like these coming through Master Hua's vision for education, we must be doing something right. So I do hope that both Sheila and Simon will continue to develop their talents in turning the Dharma wheel, because you have an audience waiting to hear from you. 就说二位法界大学的毕业生，他们有精彩的报道。Sheila 他讲的就是从心地的真实的话，他自己的经验会我相信都会感动其他人。可能今年种种的原因没办法参加我们万佛忏，可是他呢他的这个老实话，那个就是直截了当那种报道，他亲自经验的这些所克服的困难什么的，就其他人听到了都会明年都会自己跟着来，因为他们也愿意有同样的经验。Simon 他能给大家解释这个意识，这个我们 拜忏的，怎么样用心从心地法门，大家可想而知，法界佛教大学的这个对话，那个课室里边这种求学的程度是多么样高。希望二位都会继续乘这个机会来转法轮，因为你们的 audience 就有人需要听你们要讲的这个真理佛理。Okay, we'll dedicate merit now. 现在会上功德。This is a chance for you all to actually practice the way Avatamsaka Bodhisattvas practice. Every little bit counts. 那我们就效法华严经上的菩萨，这样会上功德。Every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light. Share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see, our hands and hearts can find it giving unity. We are minds away to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. They all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
Your original song is off?
Oh, no way. Really? I turned it on twice. Why would it do that? Okay, too bad. All right, next time. I was turning it on, and then somehow when I shared my screen, it turned itself off, I think. Okay, we will now bow to the Buddha. 请各位一起来礼佛谢法。Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Alrighty, we'll see you all next week. Amitofo.
Thank you, Rabbi Heng, and also Simon and Sheila's talk. I have an important announcement actually for next week, because we will be going back to the Buddha Hall and starting, I think, Saturday. So Sunday we'll be in the Buddha Hall. And it means that we won't be able to start at 7:30. 下礼拜开始，礼拜天我们凤凰城这边要回到佛殿去，因为全部开放，恢复像以前的时间一样。所以那晚课是到7点半才结束，我们不可能7点半就准时开始释法师的讲法，所以我们大概会延后个5分钟。7点35开始。So we'll be probably 5 minutes late, 7:35 to start, and won't be able to start at 7:30 because the evening ceremony will end at 7:30. So there's no way that we can start the lecture right at 7:30. And also next week we have Dr. Regier is going to share with us his reflection. 那下礼拜同时有叶主要教授会和我们分享他的感想。他已经是84岁了，他在拜望佛禅。He is 84 years old, if I remember correctly, and he finished the bowing of the whole session. And Simon has a couple of pictures to show everyone. If it's not too late, please stay. I think you'll enjoy the picture. Simon, you want to share your screen?
Okay. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, as I was leaving the city of Ten Buddhas, you can see this the buildings of the administration office at the city of Ten Buddhas, and then I saw this in the sky, and just wanted to share with you. I think, yeah, for me, I just really miss staying in touch with the Dharma community. So maybe it's a comfort for me, but I just wanted to share with you guys. Basically, yeah, just a couple of photos.
讲中文啊。
right. 我就说，今天在办完万佛宝忏呢，要离开万佛城呢。在这个大家看到这个建筑是 AO， 就是万佛的这个万佛城的办公室招待处。然后呢，就看到天上有这样的彩云。对我个人来说呢，其实我一直很希望和一些法友在一起，所以说有些失落，对我来说是一种安慰。所以说，但是呢，我也想分享给大家，希望大家法喜充满。So yeah, actually it's interesting because it changes over time. 很有意思，就是彩云它也会在变形状。你看，这是 ，yeah， 这是，然后它会变，这是近照，然后它慢慢的就变淡，然后就是这样。Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. 阿弥陀佛。
Okay, thank you, Simon. We have, besides Simon and Sheila, actually we have many other volunteers. They help with the live stream, and no time to mention their name. 除了 Simon 跟 Sheila 以外，我们还有很多的好几位义工，他们都在默默中帮忙这个直播的工作。那因为人很多，我也没有办法一个一个把他们名字念出來。So if you are interested in helping out, or actually helping translation as well, please send me an email and we'll contact. 大家如果有兴趣帮忙的话，还有我们也在翻译这个王佛宝忏，有兴趣的话，请 email 给静友，再保持联络。Okay, thank you everyone's attention.
因为法师在
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think in just one quick one because I didn't get to say it in my Dharma sharing. I just really feel actually as Dharma Master Shi talk about transference, it's still a puzzle for me, but I can feel that all my journey this time are empowered by everyone else transference, and then Sheila, Dharma Master, all the volunteers make the whole thing really easy for me. I'm just right on other people's merit and transference. So I just would like to express my gratitude here. 就是允许大家，就是因为当时一开始没有机会在我这个刚刚讲到，就是说施法师讲这回向是不可思议。我个人也感觉到，就这次我整个在万佛城的修行期间呢，我觉得感受到其他人为我的回向，为我的这个加持。无形当中我就觉得一切对我个人来说是很容易，特别是西了明法师还有其他志愿者，我觉得我就是被他们带着，就感觉所以说我个人是非常感恩，就谢谢大家，阿弥陀佛。
Okay, 阿弥陀佛 ，Thank you everyone. 感谢大家，阿弥陀佛。